Just elaborating a bit from last week, we just did some exercises on not necessarily turn backs, but just turns in general, getting horses to turn properly, keeping them relaxed. So we did some exercises on that, both for the horse and the rider. Okay, so just following on from last week. Last week, obviously, we talked about jump offs and speed classes and turns and stuff like that. So this week, just following on from that, we're going to do some exercises just with poles on the floor, just simple little exercises, getting them to turn and getting them to land on the correct canter lead. Because obviously, that's going to help you in your jump offs. So we just have like a fan, a 4 pole set out. Now between each pole we'll be going 5 strides or 6 strides, trying to keep the canter nice and balanced, but more than anything getting them to land on the correct leg after the pole, and also keeping their head to the inside and keeping lots of inside leg on so that they don't fall in and that they stay out on the track, because I think sometimes that's another thing actually, when you go against the clock, like this mare, she goes against the clock quite a lot, so then you have to spend quite a lot of time putting the basic groundwork back in to make sure that she's nice and relaxed, and keeping the curve on the turn without falling in, so keeping off of her inside leg and keeping that inside bend rather than falling in and then not meeting the pole or the jump straight. So that's what we're going to do to start off with. So yeah, we're just going to canter around these 4 poles between 5 or 6 strides each between them, and then we'll go around on the other way.
You got draw reins on to this week?
Yes, I have got draw reins on. I know that everybody doesn't completely agree with them or like them. I use them occasionally. I usually have them on the side because I think draw reins, they're not meant to pull the horses down. They're actually to stop the head going too high up. I think too many people use them to pull the heads down. I have them very loose. More so, I don't even use them that much on the flat really, but sometimes over poles on the floor. It just helps keeps them in a little bit of a shape. Some people say it's a bit of a shortcut, maybe it is, but it works. And I think in the right hands, they're no harm. These are elasticated as well, so there's a lot of give in them. And like I say, I don't have them underneath. I have them to the side on the girth there, so that she can't get overbent. Okay. Right, so off we go then. So Race, if you move, she'll get run over. If you stand there. Okay, so we're going to start off with the left rein. Like I said, not going to have the draw reins too tight. Now this exercise, we want to make sure that we've got plenty of inside bend and that we're landing on the correct lead. It's also good for the rider. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Whoop! See, it dropped up. She just dropped off my leg there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. So also the whole time there, we're keeping the head to the inside, keeping the inside bend, making sure that she's cantering over the pole and landing on the correct lead every time. Okay, so that was quite good. So this time we're going to do it again. This time we're going to add an extra stride and go 6 between each one, just to have a little bit more control and make her just to sit on the bum a little bit. So making sure that we're nice and central to the pole, nice and square and straight. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. So this kind of thing is also good because as well as putting discipline and control on your horse, as a rider you're always on the turn, so it improves your eye for the distance to see a stride, because you're always on the turn and the poles come very quickly. So in a moment we're going to make these little jumps, and we can do them over little jumps as well. It's a good exercise for the horse for control, but it's a very good exercise for the rider to practice their eye to see a better stride. So we just start off the right rein this time. Nice and central to the pole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the phone's ringing. I better take that. Could be my office in Japan. No, just Orange chasing me for money. So you notice there how she stood on the pole there. She got a little bit. She tried to do it a bit too quickly, and she trod on it behind. And it just shows how careful she is, and how not erratic, but how she doesn't like. She's so careful. She doesn't like touching anything. So just by touching the pole there with the back leg, you saw she ran off because she really doesn't like it. So we'll just do that one more time. Nice and central to the pole, nice and square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll mix it up a little bit. So now we're going to go 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you just see there, she's starting to get on top of the bridle again, starting to anticipate it. She's getting a bit stiff. So we just make a few circles, get her to relax again. As soon as she's relaxed, we go back to it again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's quite difficult for them to maintain. I mean, this particular mare, she's an older one, so she finds it relatively easy. With a younger horse, they'd find that very difficult. So you might only be able to do 2 or 3 circles at a time. Okay, so now we've put the poles on the floor. We've put them up a little bit. They're still not very big. They're probably only about a foot high, maybe a bit more than that. Maybe a bit more, but not a lot anyway. They're quite small. So obviously it's harder now than they were just poles on the floor. So again, from the horse point of view, it's teaching them to turn, look for the next fence very quickly. It's teaching them to land, try to land balanced, landing on the correct lead. From a rider's point of view, it's teaching you to see that stride, to see that distance very quickly on a turn, because everything is on the turn. Now normally you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again, like I probably would, but the more that you do it, the more they get into a rhythm. Now the idea of it as well is trying to keep them relaxed and keep them calm, so that they still turn, but they turn without being tense, and they turn and they're balanced and looking for the next fence and square and rhythmical. That's the whole thing that we're looking for, trying to achieve. So here we go. We'll start off with the pole on the floor. Still going to go for the 5 strides. Obviously the 5 strides is actually a bit short now because we're jumping. Two, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. So that wasn't too bad. A little bit erratic in places. I actually think how I set it from the blue one to the pink one for some reason that ride's a little bit shorter that way. So it wasn't perfect. So I give a little breather and we go again. One, two, oh, start again. See there, I was a little bit far off that pole and she just leapt at it a little bit. So rather than carry on, we just stop her, ride her back, give her a pat. As you can see, she's fine. It's quite a warm day actually today for February, and she's just sweating a little bit. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Better. Good. Give her a pat, do a little breather, and we go the other way. So obviously, and you don't need to build very big when you're doing things like this. It's just a matter of teaching them to turn, land rhythmical, and stay balanced. And even like your older horses, I mean, she's 11. She's won big classes all over Europe with myself and other riders, Matt Sampson as well. Alison Barton's ridden her a little bit for me, and my cousin Lauren Williams rode, and she's won big classes all over Europe. So even for the older horses, they can still find it hard, and it's just these kind of things that keeps them thinking, keeps them guessing. You know, they never stop. Some horses have to learn it, and then some horses just need to be refreshed of it. So this is like a bit of a refresher for her. Okay, so now we're just going to do that again off of the right rein. Same kind of thing. Keeping nice and central, square to the fence, making sure she's landing on the correct lead. Nice close distances. One, two, three, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Yeah, and that was good. So every time there, landed on the correct leg, nice even distances in between. Like I say, it's a very good exercise for the rider to practice your turns, to practice your eye, for seeing your stride around the turn. There are lots of different exercises you can do for that, but that's just one of them that we do. It's also, apart from the rider, it's very good to teach the horse to land and turn and stay balanced, landing on the correct lead. Yeah, and that's it, I think, for today.
So how often should they practice that? Is it sort of, I don't know, is it a weekly
practice
session?
It as much as you like, really, but it's yeah, I mean, it's not something you need to practice all the time. I mean, for somebody like myself, it's more for the horse than for me. Sorry, Angel. It's the dog just walking past. For somebody like myself, it's more about the horse than me. But that said, it still keeps your eye fresh and things like that. You know, so it's good. And because the poles and the jumps, the way that they're set, it's kind of an even 5 strides all the way around from each pole to jump, or pole to pole, if you like. So it's nice and even. It keeps the horses working properly. Keeps the horses on the correct inside bend and off of your inside legs, so they don't fall in too much. So if you've done a lot of speed classes or jump off classes at any level, they start getting into bad habits. They start to fall in around the corners. So that kind of thing where it's off of your inside leg, it keeps them round and it keeps them on the curve, so they don't fall in, and they do it correctly.
All right.
I'd advise anybody that's done a speed class or a fast jump off or something like that to do that kind of exercise. Maybe a couple of days later, 2 or 3 days later, to get them back on track for
After the event.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Ready for the next show. Yeah.
Oh really? Okay.
So yeah, it's a good exercise.
So we did speed classes last week. Is that it's something that needs to be incorporated with what was said previously?
Yeah, I mean the thing is when you jump against the clock, whether it be a jump off or a speed class, you kind of do everything that you shouldn't really normally do when you ride. You know, so because you're taking chances, so you start going too fast, turning too tight, turning too short. The horses get
timing.
Perfect
timing.
Can you shut the dog up? Timing, yeah. So I've lost my train of thought.
So you instinctively you got to know what to do so that you don't.
Yeah,
do
sorry.
silly
So
things,
when you ride against the clock and you're in speed classes or jump off, everything that you do is kind of wrong. It's everything that you shouldn't really do when you normally jump. So because you're rushing everything.
Yeah.
You know, you're cutting corners, you're jumping things on angles. You're breaking all the rules, if you like. So after you've done
survival
that,
mode, isn't it? You just
you
want to get around as soon as you can.
Yeah, as fast as you can. So you do that, you break a lot of the rules. So therefore, after that, in the training, you've got to go back to put those rules back in.
So if you exercise those things on a regular basis, presumably it becomes second nature.
I mean, but even with older ones like Dory today, you know, she's an older one now. She's 11. She's been around a bit. You know, she's with myself and Lottie Cart. We've always owned her. But you know, the last 2 or 3 years, a few different people have ridden her for different reasons, and but she gets used a lot for speed classes, whether it be a metre 35, whether it be a metre 55. She gets used for a lot of those kind of classes. So when you're doing that a lot, they get into bad habits.
Right.
You know, so then you've got to make sure you put those kind of ground rules back in.
Right.
As they start jumping too quick at things and anticipating things, and when they anticipate, they start to do things. They think before. Yeah. They think before they've actually
acting instinctively.
Before they've actually finished jumping the fence, if that makes sense.
Okay.
They're already thinking of the next. And by doing that, they make a mistake.
Okay. Right.
So it's a good exercise for the horse, but like I've already said, it's a great exercise for the rider because he's on the turn constantly, so you're always seeing the stride off of the corner. You know, and the higher the fence, the more difficult it is. But you don't have to jump very big to do it.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Dale. So what next week? Any ideas? What are you gonna be?
Well, maybe a little. So what I'm looking for. Liberate. No.
You've just drunk too much, haven't you?
Yeah. yeah. I was kind of thinking maybe we did a course walk, didn't we, last week?
Yeah.
I thought maybe that we could elaborate. That's the
word.
Elaborate more on the a bit more of a course walk. Do it in a lot more detail.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe some more exercises. I mean, we did that exercise tonight for speed classes, but I mean, there are a lot more. Maybe we could do something a bit more. Right. I think people want to know how to win classes.
Also, equipment. I'm sure they want to know, what equipment should be used, when to use it, and all that sort of stuff. Easy, Tiger.
You need to ask Steve about that.
Yeah. I don't think I should.
Hey, what's my equipment like? Is it good?
Really? So
sorry.
What? Just going through saddles and bridles and all that stuff. Not the ones that you use on the horses.
Sorry. Yeah. So we can talk about my equipment.
Yeah. Thank you.